Hi everyone, my name is Alicia and I'm a recruitment specialist for Girl Scouts Heart of Central California. So welcome to this week's weekly Wizarding Profile. Today we're focusing on Luna Lovegood. If you're a returning viewer, glad to see you again. If this is your first time, come on and listen through. So we're just going to talk about Luna and kind of who she is and what she is and why she's one of my favorite characters and maybe why she's one of your favorite characters as well. So Luna Lovegood was born on February 13th, 1981. She was sorted into House Ravenclaw her first year at Hogwarts for that as well. So Luna, for me, has always been a really good character and one of my favorite characters, kind of mostly coming from is she was always never afraid to be herself. From the first time we meet her in the books to the first time we meet her in the films, she's always just herself. So one of the kind of times we start to see Luna that she comes across in the books, and we introduced her into the film series as well, is during Order of the Phoenix. Luna would have been in her 4th year when she joined Dumbledore's army, which was taught in the Room of Requirements by Harry, getting kids together to learn about the Defense Against the Dark Arts. I was like for that as well too, to kind of teach them practical uses of magic versus what they were being taught in the school at the time that he felt for it as well. Also during that time, during Order of the Phoenix, Luna partook in Battle in the Department of Ministries, along with Harry, Neville, Hermione, Ron, Ginny, going there as well when they went to the Department of Ministries when Harry thought that Sirius had been captured by Voldemort, which turned out to actually be a trap. Sorry if you hadn't read the books or saw that was a spoiler. And she showed her bravery. Luna was the one that recommended to Harry and everyone about using the Tharsouls to travel to the Department of Ministries for that as well too. So it was pretty cool and a lot of fun for them as well. Well, not fun. It was cool that she came up with the idea to use Tharsouls in the Department of Ministry to get to the Department of Ministries because they didn't have any other way to get there for that as well too. She partook during her time in the Harry Potter Center also at the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, which took place in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. She also took place in the Battle of Hogwarts. And during the time of her 7th year, leading up to the Battle of Hogwarts, her, along with Neville and other members of the department, in their 7th year at Hogwarts and throughout Hogwarts, brought back Dumbledore's army during the time of what was Luna's taking place during the Deathly Hallows. Voldemort had control of Hogwarts. He had Death Leaders there as teachers at the school trying to kind of keep everything in his control, and they were doing what they could to fight back against, as students, to fight back against the Death Eaters and Voldemort's reign for that as well too. Luna also throughout her time at Hogwarts in the Harry Potter series got teased a lot, just kind of being who she was and her beliefs. Some of the quotes that you hear, and you even actually hear Hermione call her this once, but she felt like, really apologetic that she said it. They called her Loony Lovegood. She said, some people call me Loony Lovegood, actually. One of my favorite ones I like is being different isn't bad. It just means you're brave enough to be yourself. I like this one as well. I've actually used this quote in my real life to people is, I think I'm just too weird to explain and you're too normal to understand. And one of the favorite ones that I don't think anybody loves hearing Luna, I was like, say to them, but I've always enjoyed it, is don't worry, you're just as sane as I am. So those are some of the popular Luna Lovegood quotes that a lot of people know of for that as well too. And so a lot of her interactions, we see her with Harry, Hermione, Ron, or some of their other close friends, is she met Harry, I believe, don't know if I'm completely correct, I think it would have been in her 4th year going on the train to Hogwarts. She met Harry. I was like on the train and they were kind of talking and that struck up a friendship. When you kind of look at Luna and I talk about Luna, she became really good friends with people that I think some people normally would have been like, oh, why are they friends with her? What's the point of being kind of her friend? Because she was so weird and a little different. One of those examples is when she met Harry on the train. I think it's her 4th year. It would have been Harry's 5th. I'm not completely sure. So this would have been going into Order of the Phoenix. She was talking to Harry, and I believe it was Romilda Vane who had come in and was kind of like flirty with Harry because, hey, it's Harry Potter. He's the chosen one. I was like, for that, or this would have been going into her 5th year and 6th year. It's kind of sometime around there. I'm a little confused on the dates, but I knew when she met Harry, he was on the train and people were kind of flirting with him, and Romilda had completely just kind of dismissed Luna. And Harry was like, hey, I'm talking to someone. I'm here. I'm with my friend. And so to some people, Luna didn't look like that person who like, oh, he'll dismiss her to come be my friend or to come hang out with me or talk with me. And that wasn't true. That also kind of talks about Harry Potter's character as well, but also just that idea that people have of Luna, that they tease her, they make fun of her. I think I remember seeing in Order the Phoenix for the film when you're seeing that scene when Luna's looking around for her shoes because she's lost her shoes, but you see them hanging up from a ceiling. I was like that as well. And she's just kind of looking up at that. And they kind of teased her and made fun of her. Also, you heard, as I said, the name Looney Lovegood they have for that. She believed in the superstitious, believed everything that her father, I can never pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try, but he wrote, I believe it was the Quibbler, that her father wrote in there and had those beliefs, but she was just kind of herself. And some people didn't really like that or support that because if you don't fit in with the norm sometimes, why should I kind of treat you the same? Or you should try to do your best to fit in. But Luna's like, nah, I'm just going to be who I am and I'm just going to be me. And so I really loved that about Luna that we had for her as well too. When with Luna is I like that, as I said, she was always herself. And I know there's circumstances in life where we always just want to fit in with people and we just want to kind of, sometimes we've said yes to something we didn't want to say yes to, or we just kind of went along with something that we didn't really want to do. And Luna was always like, I'm going to be me and I'm going to do this. I'm going to represent myself full force, 100%, not change who I am in order to fit in with people. And Harry told Luna that she was one of his most trusted and closest and dearest friends. Luna became that to Harry by being Luna, that she didn't change herself to meet what other people expected and other people wanted in her to be his friend. She was just herself, and she gained that love of Harry. And even Ron's like, who didn't really like her all that much, he began to grow on her a little bit. And he's like, he came around to her and he loved and respected her a lot as well. And she formed a close relationship with Neville and with Hermione and Ginny and Dean Thomas and even Seamus and other characters that we may not see on there. She did it just by being herself. And if there's ever been a moment where you've liked, hey, like, I don't know, this is kind of embarrassing, or I don't want people to know, or people to know that about me, always be yourself. Always be uniquely you and who you are and who you want to be. Don't ever feel that you kind of got to hide parts of yourself for that as well too, because being you is great. Being you is awesome. And that's always a lesson that I took from want people to take that lesson from Luna Lovegood. One of my favorite changes that were from the movie and the books, what kind of more had to do with Neville, is that in the final Harry Potter film, Neville admits he's got a thing for Luna during the going up into the Battle of Hogwarts, and I thought that was really great. I always kind of wished in the books that those two would get together. I always thought her and Neville would fit well. That was just kind of me. Don't know what anybody else ever thought, but that was just really great for who it was too. And so Luna, along her journey, kind of stayed with what she know. Post her Hogwarts life, she actually became I'm going to say this wrong, more than likely, because I'm not going to be able to pronounce it correctly, a magizoologist. So the studies of magical creatures. She discovering and classifying many magical species that had never been encountered before. So she did that. That's what she did. She took her love for the weird and the superstitious, and she just kind of found that path for her, and she continued on that path. She did get married and have a family, as we saw in the kind of epilogue following the Deathly Hallows for that as well too. And so one thing I would say, what do you think about her? You've had those moments of doubts, and even me as an adult, I've had those kind of wonders and moments, is I always kind of go back to that quote, and that reminder is being different isn't bad. It just means you're brave enough to be yourself. And being yourself is always good through all of it. From the first time she met Harry on the train and the first time we see her character to the final moments we see her character for that as well too, is she was always herself. Being uniquely you and uniquely who you are is the beauty of Luna. She's always her true self and always being that way as well too. And she's a very talented wizard, very talented witch. I was like, for her age that we have as well, for that as well too. And so just remember that as we talked about, being you, being who you are, being uniquely you is important, just like Luna, for that as well too, and her wonder and her friends and family that she developed and the love for people that came for her from being herself, for that as well. So we're wrapping up our weekly wizarding profile with Luna Lovegood this week. Next week, if you're tuning in or watching, we're going to be talking about Severus Snape, and kind of he's a beloved character for some, a hated character by others for that, but we'll dive a little deeper into him. There'll probably be a little bit of a longer video next week, but tune in. I hope you kind of liked what we talked about with Luna Lovegood. I look forward to talking with you everyone next week. Have a really good rest of the day.